So SRV was very much rooted still in the sci-fi space opera genre. SRX is fantasy. There's a lot of like fantasy elements in this game, and that's also reflected in the mecha series they chose. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So, other new change from SRV to SRX was the introduction of a new game mode. So, we had beginner, standard, and guidance back in V. Beginner is there's no SR points. It starts normal and it stays normal. You'll get bonus funds and attack points. It's basically if you've never played an SR game. Though, honestly, if you're going to do that, I'd say do guidance mode. SR beginner mode is, I honestly would compare it more to Phoenix mode. It's kind of bullshit. Guidance mode starts you with the tutorial. I won't need that because I've already explained all the ins and outs of combat and X. Oh, SR's combat hasn't changed. Yeah, up until 30, it is still the same exact combat style. Standard mode's what we played on last time. Game difficulty changes based on the number of SR points. And there's always an SR challenge. That's what we had to play with V. Some were easy, some were bullshit, some were weird. The new game mode is Expert mode. The game difficulty is set to hard. Enemies with higher stats as opposed to standard mode will appear. SR points will only be awarded when the scenario is cleared. And what it means is there are no SR challenges. You have to clear a mission without losing once to get an SR point. This is what we will be playing T and X on. And here we have our two protagonists. The Sorcerer of Lowlight and the Sorcerer of Aquamarine. A user of Dogma, competitive and critical. He is often at loggerheads with the magical creature Spiro. A user of Dogma, somewhat timid, she often receives advice from the magical creature Spiro. Well, we can use I think I'm gonna leave her main names alone, and I will say I'm gonna go with, since her jewel name is Aquamarine, I'm gonna go with Aqua. Wow, actually I don't even need to change the birthday that much. I forgot about that. Let me double check the blood type list. Because, reminder, because I know it's been a while since we started SRV, your protagonist's birth date and blood type determine their spirit set. Also today's going to be a shorter stream. We're only doing the first 7 missions. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick with blood type O. I like that spirit set. It's our first time getting a CG cutscene to open up the game.
過去と未来が集う世界。それは永遠に覚めぬ夢。大地は人の思いを吸い、木々には知恵の実が熟す。生と死の狭間に浮かび、誰にも知られず世界は回る。すべては地の神エンデの名のもとに。そして若者は旅立つ。真実を求め戦いの大地へと。
Here we go. Allow me to introduce our first character, Wataru. Aro is from a much older show. Well, that's a good first step. Figure out where you are. Yeah, this is how we're starting this stream with these weird things. Maybe. Oh hey, there's a familiar name that we are very familiar with. This kid knows Dr. Hell, meaning Mazinger exists in his world. There's a lot of stuff to unpack there. We'll work on it over the course of the game. Oh, fuck you. Scenario 1. An encounter and a beginning. Welcome to our new world of Alrath. Unlike SRV, where we're bouncing around between 3 Earths, we are only on Alrath. 7 Mashin. And yeah, no, we are a magician. Poor kid's just getting a lot of information dumped on him. Here we go. Here's our current machine for this game. None of these look anything like the Mechanical Beasts or the Brave Express Corps, so that gives us an idea of the characters who exist in Wataro's world. So he knows about the Mechanical Beasts, he mentioned Dr. Hell, which means Mazinger and possibly Great Mazinger exist in his world, and then there's the Brave Express Corps, which means Mike Gine is in this game. For the sake of common decency. This is our machine, Zelgard, the Auto Warlock. So, pretty much everything else we had in terms of the rules we established in SRX, they all pretty much remain exactly the same. So, talk about how the Mation work as units. From how I figured, they seem like more agile super robots, but they don't have as much power. Oh, this is a good fourth wall break. Now to show off Zelgard. So, Zelgard's a bit of a weird mech. They actually, there's a lot of gimmicks to Zelgard. We'll go over them as we go through the game. Ugh. But, yeah, no, so instead of having a bunch of guns or anything, Zelgard casts spells. Currently, our most powerful one is an electric spell. There is more to the Zelgard. We'll get into, though, as we work with it. In terms of my opinion on this mech, it's not bad. It's gimmicky, I will give it that. But overall, I kind of prefer the mechs of T and X. And T and V. Like, I honestly do think, I do think, what's it called, is a better mech, the Vangray. But also, from the get-go, we have access to a sub-pilot with Spiro. Spiro kind of serves the same role as Nine. Like, in terms of the narrative, they almost fit they are the exact same role. But in terms of combat, a lot of support skills. Whoa, whoa, I think my capture card froze.
ドアクダー軍団、私が相手です。オドをその身に感じ、自らの魔力と一つにする。行ってテンペスタ。
ブリキ。
There we go. I think my mic had issues. Sorry. I think my mic had issues with everything going on. Okay, what I was gonna say is, while I'm not the biggest fan of the Zilgard, I do like the spell set. I like the idea behind it. My main issue is the Zilgard doesn't feel... It has a drop-off, I feel, and it like the Vangray did, but it doesn't have that second gen suit to make up for the loss in ability. There is one mechanic though exclusive to this game though that does kind of help it. Oh, I said it does. So yeah, the other thing is, so our heavy story connection to this world is through Wataru, which is, I believe, the series Meishin Moya Wataru. That is like the central story, basically the equivalent of Space Battleship Yamato 2199. How Avi was part of the Yamato's crew, and it was all that stuff. There are other characters who we're going to be going into in this game who are also just as amazing. But I will save my opinions on each character until we get to them. Wataru, I don't have any experience with it, with his show, but he's alright. He serves his role in the narrative very well. And I'll be honest, he does feel like a kid put into a magical world. He's the idealistic hero. He's a lot like Maito from Might Guy. The point is, he's magic. No, he's a magical parrot, and let the kid dream. I don't know, I think the purple water and giant mushrooms are kind of bigger examples of you being in a different world. I will say I love the artwork for the backgrounds. There was very few reused assets for this game in terms of the backgrounds, as compared, because it's a completely magical world as compared to the UC dimension or the AD and Do Correct Century dimension. They couldn't really reuse a lot of those, so it's a lot more of like these fantasy style backgrounds. Yeah, we just dropped on this kid that, yeah, this kid's gonna save the entire world. So, quick little things. As you can see, we've got Vault and Suborders in here. They behave exactly the same as they did in V, but there's something else to the Vault. We'll go into that when we unlock it. Power parts, option parts, and change pilot are exactly the same. Skill tree is exactly the same as it was in SRV, but they've added a few more. For one thing, I believe they've moved certain things around on the tree. There is also Lucky Star, I believe, is in here now, which triggers Command Fortune once when sortie. It's not as useful as it would become. In T and 30, this thing is a godsend. Preemptive Strike is very useful, because, I mean, it basically... Preemptive Strike was what, ASs would always have by default in, SRV. So, everything deploys with Charge, Persist, and Excel. It's a very useful skill to put on any character. We already know everything else. Parameters exactly the same as they were in SRV. And we already know what the special skills are. I'm not probably going to buy any of the special skills because they're like 2,000 a piece. I use them when I get them. But with that, welcome to the world of All Wrath. So let's keep going.